Listen, there are a lot of questions tonight about President Biden's plan to forgive student loan debt for federal borrowers.
So, of course, we turn to our legal analyst, Stephanie Haney. She's here to break it all down for us in today's Legally Speaking. And you came out with your hands raised yesterday. Pell Grant, Pell Grant. That seems to be a really big piece of all of this, certainly. So how do people check to see if they received Pell Grants in college?
It is such a big piece. It's the difference between $10,000 and $20,000. And that was a long time ago. So you might need to look it up and see if you actually got one of those Pell Grants. So here's what you need to do. You need to go to studentaid.gov. This is the website to go to. And you might have to wait a little bit for the login screen to pop up because lots of people are hitting up the site. But once you're logged in, this dashboard shows up and your outstanding loans show up there and any grants that you have received. So if you got the Pell Grants, they'll show up in the green circle chart on the right there. So it's super easy, laid out for you. Here's a pro tip for you though. If you have to reset your password, like I had to do it with your email or your phone number if you can, because that gives you immediate access. If you use the security questions, Christy and Betsy, it makes you, it makes you wait 30 minutes to get that access.
Oh, that's not good. I know that you're seeing a lot of people talking online about the fact that, man, I wish I wouldn't have paid off my student loans during the pandemic. So, I mean, are they just out of luck? I mean, where do they stand?
They are not out of luck, which is making a lot of people very happy here, because you can request a refund of federal student loan payments that you made during the pause period that started on March 13th of 2020. So if you find out that you're eligible for $10,000 or $20,000 in that debt relief and you paid that much during the pandemic, you can get that refund and then you can sit back and wait for the debt to be forgiven. Now, here's when it gets a little more complicated. Even if you didn't pay off your loans over the pandemic, you may still want a refund. That's because every single month during that pause counts as a payment toward debt forgiveness from other programs. I'll give you the example of a teacher that's a public servant who might be repaying under the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Plan. So let's say that teacher has $200,000 in debt and they've been making payments on that debt for 9 years, including the pause. So that's to present day. Now, they're not going to pay off $200,000 in 1 year. And we know that under the PSLF, your debt's forgiven after 10 years. So that person should stop making payments, get that refund of everything they've paid over the past 2.5 some years, and then a year from now, all of that debt will be forgiven. Now, that's just one example. There's a similar scenario for income-driven repayment plan borrowers. And also, here's a fun fact. If you are on the income-driven repayment plan, anytime where your payment was $0 because you didn't make much money, that also counts towards your 20 years of repayment toward forgiveness. So you might be closer to forgiveness than you think is the moral of that story.
What about Parent Plus loans? And I was this many days old when I heard of Parent Plus loans. But are those included in these loan forgiveness plans?
This is a very specific question that I got from one of our viewers. So thank you to Tracy Marie for asking this question. And the answer to that is yes, those are included, but also subject to those income requirements. Remember, the threshold is $125,000 for one person, $250,000 for a married couple or a head of a household. And by the way, for both parents and students, this $125,000, that's based on either your 2020 or your 2021 taxes. So, Christy, Betsy, if you made more money in 1 year and that put you over the $125,000, it's okay as long as you were under in one of those years. So there's some leeway there.
So you mentioned taxes. I think there's a lot of people out there going, am I going to get taxed on this relief?
Yes, that's a big question, because usually when your debt is relieved, you are taxed on that as income, but not in this scenario, because under the American Rescue Plan, there's a special provision in there that temporarily eliminated any tax that student loan borrowers would face if their debt was discharged. Now, that was signed into law, remember, March 11th, 2021. So potentially a sign there that he's been thinking about this maybe longer than he let on.
Wow. There's so much to this. It's so confusing, but you give us more insight every day. Thank you so much.
Happy to do it.